Hello, my name is Laura Barnes, and I am absolutely thrilled to have your ninth grader in my pre-IB World History 1 course. And so what I would like to do in this video is just take a moment to introduce myself and let you know a little bit about who your student will be spending time with this year, and then also give you just a little bit of information about the course and how you can find out more if you have questions. So as I share my screen here, I will pull up a little slide deck that will walk us through some of the things that I would like to say. And so first and foremost, the easiest way to reach me is going to be via email. And so you'll see that information down there at the bottom. I am available at lbarnes@nsd.org. And then by way of introduction, I have been in the classroom for a while now. This is actually my 21st year as a teacher. I'm certified in social studies and history and also English language arts. I am an alumna of the University of Alabama, Birmingham, Georgia College and State University, and I also have done some graduate work at UNC Chapel Hill. I've lived and taught in 4 states, so I'm relatively new to Washington still. I am also a national board certified teacher in adolescent and young adult social studies. I'm new to the North Shore School District this year, and I am actually split between 2 campuses. So I am on campus teaching at Inglemoor in the mornings and then at North Creek in the afternoons. I am a mom of teens as well, so my whole world is spending time with teenagers right now. I also at home have a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and an 11-year-old, and we are a big soccer family. Personally, I also love art journaling and sketching, especially when I travel. And if you are detecting a Southern accent, you are correct. I am originally from Birmingham, Alabama, and that accent is still with me. Let's see. Some things to let you know about my goals as a teacher for this year. First and foremost, student connections. As we are entering back into the classroom this fall, I want to focus on creating a strong classroom community. I also know that students may need to develop or strengthen some skills that perhaps they might have learned in middle school, and because of the pandemic, we didn't have the opportunity maybe to develop those in the way that we might would have liked. So this year will definitely be a blend of teaching both content and skills. We will be working on how to take notes, how to effectively research, how to cite our sources correctly, how to evaluate the credibility of sources, and some of those sort of skill-based activities that, like I said, typically with incoming ninth graders, maybe we would assume that they had the opportunity in middle school to strengthen those. And now we realize that maybe we just need to spend a little bit more time with those and maybe not assume that students are exactly where we want them to be. So we very much will be trying to meet them where they are as a social studies department this year and strengthen those skills that we know that they are going to need to be successful in our classes. I do also this year want to provide opportunities for students to develop and use communication skills and be able to engage in civil discourse, that it is okay to disagree, but we need to do that respectfully and listen to other people's points of view, and also develop strategies for evaluating points of view and evaluating information and figuring out what's credible and what's not. And then, of course, we also want to help students be able to advocate for themselves. So I hope that as your student this year has questions that arise, that they will feel comfortable contacting me about that, either via email, or of course we can always just simply have a chat in class as well. Just a little bit about the structure of this particular class. Again, as far as the skills go, we do focus on effective note-taking, evaluation of sources, writing and answering focus questions for the unit that we are working on, engaging in analytical writing, which involves making a claim or a thesis, supporting that with evidence, and then using reasoning. We will do that through the course of in-class essays and then also larger research projects, some of which will be individual and some of which will be the result of a group effort as they work on putting together a final product. And then as far as the actual content covered, and as far as the time period that we'll be spanning, basically we will be looking at European contact, so sort of that like a little bit of the pre-colonial time up through about the 1950s decolonization period is our span that we'll be focusing on. Transoceanic connections, national revolutions, industrialization and the consequences of industrialization, global conflict, Cold War and decolonization, and then a little bit about globalization are the units that will be our focus for this year. I do use standards-based grading for summative assessments, and we have talked about this in class, and so your students should be able to talk you through this with you a little bit if you're not super familiar with what standards-based grading looks like. But basically, things are scored using a rubric, and this is the rubric that we will use for those summative assessments. Summative assessments are kind of the larger, sort of the things that are worth the most in terms of how the class is graded. So this is the standard rubric in terms of how we will be utilizing that system of grading. And then overall, the standard-based grading will be used for summative assessments. So projects and essays. The whole point is to give students an opportunity to understand and reflect on their own learning, and to have opportunities to show that that they are meeting the objectives that we have laid out for each unit. Another thing that it's important to know about the course is that there is a reassessment policy. So if students don't do as well on those summative assessments as maybe we would like, or as well as they were hoping for, they do have an opportunity to earn back some of those points that maybe they didn't get the first time. That reassessment policy is a little bit different depending on what the assessment was. If it's a test, for instance, that might involve doing some test corrections. If it was an essay that was written, then maybe they need to make some revisions. If it was a project, maybe they need to work on strengthening the citations or using sources that are a little bit more credible, or whatever the case may be. So that reassessment policy varies a little bit depending on what the assessment was. In general, as far as grading goes, this is just sort of the overall grading policy. Summative assessments are, they go into what we call a 50% category. Formative assessments, which are things where we're just forming what we're learning about the unit, those go into the 40% category. And then sort of daily work and little smaller homework activities, things like exit tickets, Google Forms we might do in class, little warm-up writing exercises that we do, those all will go into that homework category. And that is going to equal a total of 100%. With categorical grading, I have a little disclaimer here. Sometimes students get confused about how the math works behind the scenes, especially if they are used to classes where the grading has been done just 100% on a total point system. And so we will spend some time making sure that students know exactly where their grade is coming from and how it's calculated. I have also put together a little, an example. We kind of take an example student, we go through his sample grades and figure out like how the math works to calculate his grade, and why his grade was maybe not as high as he thought it was going to be, because it's not a total point system. It's a categorical grading system. So if you feel like your student is maybe not 100% familiar with categorical grading and how that works, please tell them to reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Or they can also go and check out the PowerPoint that I have posted over on our Schoology page. And then finally, again, mentioning Schoology, I do keep that updated. There is also a calendar that students can see, which is going to be, especially this year, I think, important in case students are absent for any reason. Parent view, of course, is how you can check and see what's going on with your students' grades. And then if students feel that they need help at any point, they certainly can contact me via email. We can schedule additional meetings if it's something it's probably going to take maybe a longer conversation. We can use study time on our block days as well. And then students are encouraged to form study groups or to find a study buddy in the class that can help them as we all work together through our course content this year. So thank you so much for your time and your attention, and please feel free to contact me if questions arise this year.